Hello, and welcome to the Life Strategies Show with the Maxine Phillips McCoy. I am so glad I'm here today, and I'm glad that you are here with me as well. Go ahead, tag someone, let them know that you're here. You're going to be talking about life strategies. We're expecting our guests to come on in any minute, but in the meantime, I'm just going to keep it moving. You know how that goes. Technology can happen, but you have to learn how to pivot and adjust to it. So today, it's all about level less. Level less is about knowing your worth. It's about understanding who you are from your core. It's about you defining what success looks like for you. Then put a strategy in place. Execute those strategy steps that you have so that you can continue to succeed on your terms. It's a levelless mindset. It's a shift in the way in which you're thinking. Because the majority of the time we think about climbing a corporate ladder or up leveling or excelling, so we always say climbing. But with levelless, you can do lateral. And lateral, you are always succeeding as well. You can just remove the mindset of having to achieve levels, but instead achieve your strategies that you put in place. So today, let's talk about what have you done for yourself lately? What have you done for yourself lately? When I say that, what comes to your mind? I know Janet Jackson says, what have you done for me lately? But I'm asking you, what have you done for yourself? What have you for a self-development, for as mental preparedness, your physical well-being, your financial situation, even, your emotional and your spiritual side of it. So what have you done for yourself lately? When it comes to strategies, it's important that you have what is called me time, M-E, and let those be capital M, capital E. In a strategy, you always need to include me time. Put it on your calendar. Make an appointment with yourself. It's for yourself, about yourself, and what it is that you want to do with yourself. When you put that on the calendar, is it for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour? It could be an entire day, or it could be that you're taking a vacation and it's an entire week. I mean, some individuals have taken sabbaticals and it's an entire year in order to write a book or do research. So there's different ways that you can put on your calendar for me time. But the most important thing is to put it on the calendar. Make some me time for yourself. Me time could be just sitting quietly, meditating, reading, reflecting, reevaluating where you are, what you're doing, how you're doing it, who you're doing it with. Who do you need to have within your circle of influence? Who do you need to connect yourself with? All of this is about putting strategies in place. And it's also about putting me time in place, because the me time could be scheduling time with an individual that you want to spend time with. And it could be development. That could be a part of me time, because you're trying to learn more. Not trying, let's take the word trying out of there. You are learning more. You're increasing your wisdom. You're increasing your skills, your knowledge level. And you can reach more people as long as you start increasing it. Always be a lifelong learner. I know my guest today he's an educator. I mean, he's the Durham City Councilman. I mean, there's a lot of things and a lot of roles that he plays as far as education is concerned. And, we were going to talk to him about what are the crossroads that you have in this? How do they intersect? So I want you to take the same mindset and this same thought process and look at yourself. Look at yourself. Where are you? What are some of the things that you're doing? I know with me, I'm doing assessments that help individual to identify what it is that they are already doing every day. So they're not wasting their talents and their abilities or their strengths, and they're using it in a capacity in which they are producing the results. They selected the career that they wanted. They ended up getting the salary that they desired, and they're living the lifestyle that they deserve, all because they were able to put a strategy in place and they were able to execute on those steps. So it's important that once you put the strategy in place, that you do execute on each step. And you don't have to do it all by yourself. So don't go solo. I had to learn that early in the business. You don't have to do it all by yourself. There are plenty of individuals out here who's willing to walk alone, that walk with you, if you would only let them know. If you only let them know and ask them to be a part of your tribe. I don't like to call it circle, but support system. So ask them to be a part of it, but be selective at the same time, because those who you select to be a part of your support system many times need to embrace the vision that you have or the mission that you're going for. So that's a part of a strategy that you can put in place for yourself. So the thing about when you start looking within yourself, many times we talk about personalities. Who are you? But guess what? Personalities actually change because it depends on what you're doing in life, where you are, the impact, if there's been a trauma or crisis situation. I mean, there's different phases in life that you go through. Well, even in an age phase, you got your preteens, your teens, your young adults, your adults. Then you get into the seasoned adults, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. And with which every 10 years, you're going to go through a personality change. But guess what? Strategies, abilities. Your strategy can change, but one thing that does not change, your abilities. Your abilities don't change. Not the ones that you were born with, not the ones that you received when you were given the breath of life. They do not change. Now, you use more of them, you might use less of them, but they do not change. You were born with them, and you'll leave this earth with them. Now, what I like to encourage you to do is don't waste those abilities. Do not waste them. You want to use them when making your educational decisions. You want to use them when you are deciding on the career path that you are to choose. They need to match your career path and your profession. It is critical. It is essential that it matches your everyday abilities and strengths. Because when your profession and your career path, when it does, you thrive. You absolutely thrive. You're no longer surviving. And parents, listen up. Students, ages 14, 19, in high school. Let's focus in on that age group. Where were you and what did you want to be when you grew up, when you were the ages between 14 and 19? Write it down. Type it in the comment box. Let me know what it was that you saw yourself doing, that you dreamed about doing, that you had the aspirations to do. Share it. Because statistics has shown us that those dreams that we had in middle school and high school, life happened. Those dreams took the back burner. And many times, and I guarantee you, if you raise your hand or if you put notes in here saying, I'm working in the field of my dreams, Yes, I am also saying it's time for you to take that information that you had for yourself as a kid in that dream and look at where are you at today? Are you using it? Are you using those thoughts? Are you working toward that dream, that vision that you saw for yourself? Now is a time to continue to reevaluate it. Now is the time to reflect on it. Now is the time to even look at what it is that you're doing right now. When you do that, it starts helping you to focus in on, am I doing what I had dreamt about as a middle schooler or as a high schooler? Am I working in that profession? So parents, the reason why I'm saying that and having you to look at it, because when we take our young adults, beginning at the age of 14 through 19, and allowing them to evaluate and allowing them to be assessed using this ability assessment, and they begin to understand who they are from their core. They begin to understand that those abilities that they do every single day, that it maps itself into a career path, into a profession. They begin to understand that they have those driving abilities that's going to dictate that they hone in on that profession that they absolutely love doing. We need to allow our young adults to do this at the earliest age possible. So I encourage you to reach out to Maxine at levelisco.com and set an appointment so we can talk about that. And better yet, I'm going to be sharing with you that those of you who are in the Raleigh, Durham, Cary, Chapel Hill area, that you're able to come on March the 26th to Starbucks, and I will be having an informational session there talking about how can we use our everyday abilities to make those decisions when it comes to education, job opportunities, and your career and profession. Yes, I can't wait to be able to talk to you about that. But in the meantime, let's talk about, here we are in the spring of 2023. Students in that age group that I just spoke about, 14 to 19, are now selecting their electives for the fall semester. When they select those electives for the fall semester, I ask you, are they taking a class just for the sake of taking a class? Or are they selecting an elective that's going to help prepare them for the workforce, that's going to help prepare them for the degree plan should they go on to the higher education, a college institution? Are they looking at the electives in the event that they choose to go into the military? How is this enhancing what they're already gifted at doing? I'm bringing this up for a reason, and that reason is because it's so essential that our students in high school select electives that's going to prepare them beyond high school. It prepares them for the workforce. It prepares them for job opportunities. It prepares them for internships. It prepares them for moving forward, even if they are going to be an entrepreneur. Because even in being an entrepreneur, you still need to know what's your passion, what's your purpose, what it is that you see yourself doing, what problem will you solve being a business owner or an entrepreneur. See, Many of us, we did not have this opportunity to be assessed and to understand what career path was going to match who we are from our core. Many of us were not given that opportunity, but time has allowed. Technology is here. It's no longer paper and pencil. It's done digital. It's virtual. It's all online. You do it in the comforts of your home. But the most important thing is that you have someone that can come along the side of you with your student and give a debrief on what is this assessment showing you? What does this assessment show about who you are from your core? Well, that's what we do here at Level Less. We take the time to ensure that the students understand who they are from their core through this assessment, because this assessment is what's going to help them create, to define what success looks like for them. There's so many types of assessments out here. There's so many types. You've got a career assessment that you can take. There's a question and answer. You have the personality assessments that you can take. You have the career inventory that you can take. And what you want is someone to sit down with you and your student to be able to debrief you on what it means and how that student is going to hone in on their gifts and talents. Oh, there are thousands of individuals who are taking these assessments. But how are you going to use them? So the most important thing is to use them. So in life strategies, that's what you want to do. You want to ensure that you understand who you are and how is this going to affect you as you're making your lifelong decisions. Your lifelong decisions, and they all start when you are just a child. You might forget about them because life gets in the way and you start doing things differently, or you go off the track, and even the degree that you've acquired, you might not even be working in the field that you acquired the degree. And so I ask you, are you happy? But I bet you want your child to be happy. I bet you want them to be able to work in a field in which they are passionate about and they understand their purpose. So that's what we're talking about this evening, is what strategies have you put in place that's helping you to propel yourself moving forward? Not necessarily climbing a ladder. Remember, we talked about a shift in the mindset. The level less is about removing the levels so that you define what success is for you and you move forward doing it. So when we start talking about strategies, write them down. Prioritize them. Understand how you're going to achieve them and who's going to help you to achieve them. Some people call strategies a plan. Some people call them an action item. But the most important thing is that you document them, that you put a time frame against them, that they're specific on what it is that you see yourself accomplishing. And how often will you accomplish it? And then, what are your results? How are you measuring the results? Is it time? Many times we hear, is it quantity or is it quality? Is it a standard of excellence? That's what it should be. It should always be a standard of excellence in everything in which we do. So you want to be specific with when you create the strategy, and you want to put a time against it. And then when you put the time against it, ask yourself, is it a day? Is it a week? Is it a month? 2 months, 6 months, or is it a year? How are you going to evaluate if you have accomplished that strategy? So see, there's so many different ways when you put strategies in place that you can achieve them. When you put a strategy in place, when we're talking about our youth, and they put that strategy in place when they're freshmen in high school, that strategy will follow them through beyond high school, into the workforce, into the military. It can follow them into becoming an entrepreneur. It can follow them into creating their college program. And then afterwards, it follows them for the rest of their life. It's not something that you have to ever give up. You just keep adding to your strategy as you accomplish your actions. And that's why Leveless, it says, continue to succeed on your terms. Because you put that strategy in place and you're taking actions against it. Oh, but I can't help but to tell you one thing about when you start taking those actions. Building relationships. It's so essential to build relationships. And building those relationships is not what's in it for me. No, it's not. It's how can I assist you? That's the question we should be asking as we're building the relationships. What can we do to help the person in which we're building the relationship with? I know there's a workshop that I do, Make Every Connection Count. That's right. Make every connection count. And in making that connection count, when you're asking that person, how can I help you? How can I assist you? What is it that I can help you do or complete? It could be a part of a project that you help them with. It could be making a telephone call. It could be doing some administrative work, or it could be introducing them to someone. And even when you're introducing them to someone, follow through. Follow through with it. I love doing this show called Life Strategies because when I started in 2020, during the pandemic, there were so many individuals who were at a crossroad in life, unsure what direction to take. Our youth are the same way. When they're in middle school, coming into high school, they're at a crossroad in life, trying to understand what direction to take. As they go through high school and they're coming out of high school, now they're getting ready to enter into the working world. Again, they're at that crossroad in life. What path should they take? Well, here at Leveless, exactly, Miss Sharon Campbell is with us this evening. Thank you, Sharon, for chiming in. It's so good to see you. The thing about it, when they at that crossroad and they understand their passion, their purpose, they even understand what career path they're taking while they're in high school, you have a happy child on your hands. And guess what? As they move through high school, they might end up with a summer job, internships. Not only that, because what you want is after they have left your home as a senior going into the adulthood, you want them to be independent. You want them to be self-sufficient. You want them off of your payroll. I always call it off of the parental payroll. Because once they leave home and they're prepared, they're able to sustain it, then they come back and talk to mom and dad about what they're doing. They don't need a handout. They need a support system at that point. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? That you prepared them that way. They understand who they are. You've given them an opportunity to assess. You've given them an opportunity to put a strategy in place. You've given them an opportunity to work that strategy. to make the decisions while they're in high school? Are they going to be always the right decisions? Well, heck no. Did we always make the right decisions? Did you always make the right decisions? But it's called lesson learned. Lessons learned. How do we take the lessons that we learned and improve upon them so we do not repeat the same mistakes? And that's what our youth are able to do when they understand who they are, when they know their everyday abilities and their strengths, and they are able to embrace them and to believe in themselves. The confidence level kicks in. They can articulate what it is that they want, who they are, communicate their strengths, no matter where they are at any given time, no matter when they are asked. That's what you want. That's what I wanted for my children. So yes, did I assess my children? You better believe I did. I have to practice what I teach. Did they do well, and are they doing well? Yes, they are. So these are proven techniques. And it's not just my children. You can always read about a lot of the different students I worked with on my on my LinkedIn. But the most important thing is that we allow our children to put that strategy in place, that we allow our children to execute, to prioritize, to share, to give back, to impart into others, to become an influencer. They don't have to wait until they become an adult. Many of our young adults who understand who they are at that 14 and 15 and 16 years of age, they're already in executive roles. They're already in owning their own business. They're already influencing the community, making some of the community decisions on some of the boards, on some of the committees, offering advice, brainstorming. They're able to use all of these abilities that they have. And they're no longer wondering, what direction do I take? Now they know. It's a beautiful thing when you see that light bulb goes on in that young person's mind and they start executing on those abilities and strengths that they have. They discovered who they are, or they even identified those abilities that they have that were hidden, that they didn't even know about. And in some instances, it's a matter of confirmation. It's a matter of confirming that, yes, what they know about themselves is really true. And that's when they can embrace who they are. It's nothing like having a young adult tell you their abilities, can talk you through them when they're describing who they are as a person. It's powerful to watch. And we see it many times on TV, but it would be even awesome to see it right in your home as you're talking to your own youth, your own young adult. Now, some kids, they know that they know that they know, but there are so many who are unsure, who feel stuck and not sure what direction to go. And then parents, here we are at times, because I know when my children were 14 and 15, I didn't know how to help them. It wasn't until I became a coach, I became an influencer, I started my own business, I started honing in on everything. And that's when I realized that I had overlooked some of I overlooked my children's abilities. But lo and behold, we were able to get back on track. Because once I assessed them and shared the feedback with them, they knew then what direction they were to take. And I tell you, it's not, like I said, it's nothing more beautiful when you see that light bulb goes on in that young adult's mind. It's so beautiful because you see that smile come across your face. And it's like, Miss Maxine, I got it. I understand. Now I know what direction I'm going to be taking. I thought I wanted to go in here, but now I want to be an aeronaut. I want to go into aeronautics. I thought I just wanted to be a businessman, but I realized it wasn't working for me. I've had so many adults who tell me that, yes, I thought I was going to be an accountant. I went through all the schooling for it and became an accountant and disliked it. But now that here I am, I'm teaching. It's not me wanting to be an accountant. It's about me teaching accounting. So wouldn't it have been awesome that they had known that while they were in high school? But the main thing of it is that we have to learn how to repurpose our skills. So if we're not in an area that we are happy with, then we need to repurpose the knowledge that we have so we can become happy, so that we can thrive, not just survive. It's beyond that. It's beyond that. So as I sit here and I think about the strategies that I know I had to put in place, I want to hear about some strategies that you had to put in place. Anybody out there that's willing to share some strategies that well, some kind of way we just lost connection there for a minute, but that's okay. All right, we got it back up. Okay. Yes, my camera went off for a minute. That's right. But I'm back. I'm back on. So, any strategies that you put in place that you have found that you needed to do for yourself? You're an adult right now, but then you had to. Hello, hello. Look who we have come in. Hello.
How's it going?
It's going good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Sorry about the technical issues. We finally got it up and running.
Well, thank you
Um,
so much for being here. Hello. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, look who just popped in. You came in to save the day. No, listen, Mr. Williams, I was talking to him about the strategies and asking them to just share some strategies that they put in place, right? Because as key as we had ideas of things we wanted to be and do and who we wanted to become. But we know life got caught us up, right? It got in the way. And we started doing other things other than what as a child we wanted to do. And so I was wanting them to put some strategies in place to share with us. And I know you had some strategies that you put in place because when I'm reading your resume and all the things that you're doing, sir, I am just so proud of you. Not only a councilman, but then you got your own business. You're going to be open a restaurant. So you're an educator, and education is so important. It's so important. And as I was reading, I understand you have those crossroads but you're merging them together.
yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about that. So we're going to switch hats, ladies and gentlemen. There's enough of me talking. Now we have our special guest, Mr. Leonard. Is it Leonard? Leonardo?
Leonardo. Yes.
Leonardo Williams. We have him with us. And so he's going to share with us all these great things that he's doing.
Yeah. Well, I'll just jump right in on your strategy question. I strategically, um, I'm doing better now, but I have to put in strategies to take care of myself um, because you know, uh, Councilman Williams, politics won't always be there, and it can definitely be heavy on you. Entrepreneur Leonardo, the business, it'll still function once I'm dead and gone. And politics have elections. You
Mhm.
rotate in, rotate out. Um, but me, my body, myself, my mind, body, spirit, and soul is what I have to nurture. So I, I'm still a musician. I still listen to. I use music as therapy. I have a routine. I get up. every morning, I, take some time to really meditate. And a lot of folks don't really know how to meditate, so do it like I do it. Just sit and be still. Lay flat on the floor. How many times have you just laid on the floor, not on your bed, but on the floor, and allow yourself to be parallel with the earth, with our soil? I do those things, and I light candles, after a long day's work. Those little small but very important things help really balance my life out.
I love it. I love it because prior to, me started diving into strategies, I talked about me time. And
Mhm.
that's capital M, capital me, E, and make an appointment with yourself on your calendar so you can do exactly those things that you're talking about.
Yep.
Meditate, and you have to take care of the body, the mind, the soul, your spirit. You're right, because if you don't, then who will? Who
Right,
will?
right. And I live a life. I'll just kind of run down everything I have going on right now. 5 years ago, my wife and I opened our first brick and mortar restaurant, Willie's Kitchen. Um, we made the impossible possible. We set out for a dream and it came true. It really did. And we went through the pandemic. We raised millions of dollars to help save the city. We served hundreds of thousands of meals to feed the hungry and needy. We did that because we were aggressively loving hard on our city and our community.
Yes.
Um, and because of all the giving back, it's turned out to work very well for us. So now, we, have that location that we first opened. We just closed it on Saturday to
Okay.
relocate it downtown Durham at Brightleaf Square, opening in August. And we're going to take a break because we're also opening a brand new upscale concept at American Tobacco on Saturday. We have a 8,000 square foot cafe at Duke University, and we have a boutique hotel in Zimbabwe. Sitting on the city council, leading this city as one of the seven most powerful people in the area, in the city. And yeah, just making sure that I'm very intentional about the efforts to preserve the life and quality of life of our young Black men and boys. So you'll see more of that coming up really soon.
Well, that is so good to hear because, again, prior to you coming on, I was talking about assessments. And then it's called an ability assessment, the Highlands Ability Assessment, and how often we are not assessed with our abilities at the earliest age possible. So many times we go through life and I was 33, 35 before I realized my true abilities. But what if, imagine if we help our, like you say, our young Black men and our young boys and whomever it is as a youth period, understand those abilities at that crossroad in life, that 14 to 19, that pivotal point in life where they can easily be swooped up into what society, and they understand those abilities. So that's what I was talking about. So you're so right that if they knew that, they knew what direction to take. Entrepreneurship could happen at 14, not
Yeah,
50
they got it.
or 40.
Our kids, especially our youth, especially our young men, they have a superpower. They know how to morph into things that they see.
Right.
So if they see somebody on the corner dealing drugs, they have the superpower of being able to do the same. But if they see someone in a suit and tie or someone that's out working hard every day to make a living for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
they can do that too. So we got to make sure that they start seeing more positive things. And too often our schools reflect our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And we got to make sure that all of our kids have an equitable chance to to do good for themselves, and we got to make sure that those opportunities are present. And
Yeah.
it is folks like me that we have to make that our obligation, not a choice. We have
Mm.
to be obligated to do it.
I agree with you 100%. And I'm right there with you. Okay. So I'm right beside you, walking right beside you about making sure that this happened because that is so near and dear to me. Because I was explaining yesterday, I received the Lifetime Achievement Award for my volunteer service, the presidential. Thank you. And I was talking about at the age of 17, where I was at C average in school, but this is like back in the 70s. And 70s, we had just gone into integration, and so they didn't look at me as being college material. So they didn't talk to me about college. So consequently, even though I wanted to go to college, but having a family of 12, from a family of 12, I didn't feel like we could afford it. But what if someone had taken me under their wing, had mentored me? Because I already had that desire. I had a levelist mindset at 11. It just didn't start when I became the owner of Levelist. It started when I was young, in elementary school. And so the whole thing of it is what you're talking about. If we can pull our resources together and help our young men, our young women understand all of these attributes that they have and how do they use them to be efficient in life, self-sustaining in life, productive in life, giving back to the community, like what we're doing and what you've done and I'm doing. It's going to be powerful when we all come together and help our young people do this.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yep.
so as I was thinking about some of the crossroads that you had, you said you're merging education with the entrepreneur, the business mind, and everything. So, talk to me a little bit about that. What were some of the strategies that you had to put in place to make sure that this was truly working?
Yeah, so from education to entrepreneurship, it's people work. That's the
Mhm.
common denominator, people. And I was really, really, really good as an educator, two time teacher of the year. And I am so proud of that.
Yes.
I'm proud of it because my students gave me the right to be proud of it because they're the ones that showed me the impact that I made on them. And I still have them reaching out today. It's weird when I see them because they look as old as I do now. And I'm like, I must be really old. But they're growing up so fast. Some of them have children of their own now. Um, but one thing I could do was I could curate an experience of learning for them, and I wanted to do more. And when I left the classroom, I left because I wanted to run a school because
Right.
I really needed. Uh, how can I put it? I really see you later. I really needed to do more of what I was doing in that band room because I was a
Okay.
music, I was a band director. So I became an assistant principal for a year. Wanted to do more. Became a principal. Wanted to do more. Became an associate superintendent. But what happened? I realized that I was gaining all of this knowledge. I had my principal's license. I had so much leadership, and I started working with teachers to help them implement the same experiences that I did in the classroom.
Right.
And someone they offered to pay me to do it one time, and that was the first time that I was like, oh my god, like I got paid doing what I
Bingo.
love.
Yeah. Bingo.
And so I went back through my grad school courses, and I said, if I spent an entire semester training on this, I'm a professional or an expert at it now. So I started a consulting company, and I just basically started implementing everything that I learned. And before you knew it, I was getting recruited by Governor Cooper to be an education consultant. But my education consulting firm just had me all over the state. And that's how I got noticed, just writing curriculum. Next thing you know, I'm, taking that same energy and starting a business, and well, I had a business as a consultant, but then I started a restaurant. And so I get into the restaurant and I miss being around my students and people. So I
Mm.
started, being able to like curate experiences in my restaurants. And next thing you know, I'm doing community work as a restaurateur, had a charitable component to a for-profit initiative. And then that's when President Biden called a restaurant and said, you're the American story. You and your wife, she's an immigrant from Zimbabwe, naturalized as a US citizen now.
Yes. Yes.
And he said, sit with my granddaughter and wife. I want you guys as my guests. And we did so. And that's, we are where we are now, And so education is so important. Education is the gateway to all things. And entrepreneurship is one of the most pivotal things that education can provide you access to. And I don't
Yes.
mean just schools, I mean the act of learning, teaching and
Yes,
learning.
yes. Always be a lifelong learner. And that's what I
Yeah.
mean, I tell everybody, I said, I'm like a sponge. I said, because when I sit in front of people and I'm talking to people, I'm about, wisdom, imparting wisdom,
Hmm.
right? But we already know that get wisdom, but when you get wisdom, you have to also get the understanding. If you just have the wisdom, you just have the wisdom. They're just words. But if you don't understand how to use them, and like you said, you went back for more, you wanted more, you knew you needed more, and you got that more, but you just didn't sit on that more.
Right, do something with it.
Yes, you did
Yeah.
something with it. And that's what wisdom is all about. You received all of that wisdom through your education, but then you started putting it all together and say, wait a minute, I have something here. And what if
Hmm.
our young people have an opportunity to sit back and do that now? Why they 13, 14, 15, and 16? And someone helps them to help navigate them through some of these pivotal points in their life, then they will stop giving up.
Yep. Yep.
Because what
Yep.
if I had given up when that teacher told me that no, you're not college material? I mean, at 16 and 17, that could have just turned my entire life upside down.
Yeah.
But I didn't necessarily have a mentor. I had my almighty that I believe in and a higher power other than myself. And I was told, you're more than that. I've given you more than that. And that's why I can stand on. I know that everybody were given abilities when they were given the breath of life. I'm commissioned to help them to understand what those abilities are so they can put them into a strategy and now use them.
Yeah. Well, the Almighty is always sufficient.
Yes, yes. So you're getting ready to open this restaurant up. You said, and okay, take me back through that COVID period. And I heard what you said. You fed thousands.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
talk to me a bit, because that had to be a strategy in itself, how you were going to make all of that happen.
Well, it started without a strategy. It started with me being nosy. I was on Facebook,
Curious. I call it
and
curious.
I was on Facebook headed to a caterer. We had to cater for Duke University. And there was a Little League football team conference or something. It's like 500 players.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to cater for it. I wanted to see the setup before we actually, went over there. So I was driving. I got to a T intersection. I looked at my phone and I saw, this is pre-COVID, by the way. I saw a Facebook post that said, know your rights. McDougal Terrace residents have a community meeting. I was like, what the heck happened? And then I saw a news story. Um, all McDougal Terrace residents had to be evacuated due to CO2 leaks.
Right.
Well, I was just curious, and I instead of turning left, I turned right and went to McDougal Terrace. And when I get there, I pull up in the parking lot, and there's like all of these people sort of just squirming away because someone passed out. So instead of me being able to get back in my car, in my truck, someone grabbed me and said, "Hey, get out of the way, go in the house." So I go in this little apartment, and we're all crowded in there. I had no idea what was going on there. I knew no one.
Right.
And there was this young lady, her name was Ashley Kennedy. She was walking around on the phone and she was like, "Bro, I'm trying to do it. I'm trying my best." I didn't know what she was trying to do, but someone said to me, the lady that just passed out in the parking lot is the mother of the child who just died.
Oh,
And that struck my heart. And I saw one person that I did know, and she basically said, "Leo, we're here because we're trying to help the residents find out what they can, what their rights are, what's going on in the situation." And that just blew my mind. I was like, on that when she was on the phone, there was a lady on the phone that said, "Ashley, all we have are some potato chips, the clothes on our back, and that's it. We just had to get pushed out of the apartment." And I was like, "Hey, I have food." And she
oh
was like,
wow.
"What?" I was like, "I have food. I can help." And she said, "All right, go to the Days Inn on Hillsborough Road or something like that." And I said, "Okay." And I went there, and the lady that was there that I had to meet with told me everything that was going on. So I bought them some food. I went back to my restaurant and I told my wife, I said, "There's a major situation going on, and I can't sit here and not do anything. So
Right.
I'm about to let you know who you really married. We're about to feed the city."
Right.
And she said, "Well, let's do it." And so we basically got on Facebook and said, "Hey, if you have four wheels on a car, a roof over your head with a chair inside, and you can sit down and eat a good meal, then you're privileged compared to our neighbors. And we cannot sit back and let this happen. So please
Mm-mm.
come to my restaurant, bring hot dogs, buns, canned beans, whatever. Bring it. We'll cook it. If you bring it, we'll cook it and deliver it." And by this time, the residents were spread out over the city to 21 hotels. Um, And so I had no idea. I thought it was going to just be my wife and I delivery stuff. But um, in a few hours, we had over 40 people in the restaurant. And I put three people to the side. I said, all right, start a GoFundMe. All right, you all over here. I need non-perishable items organized back there. Need you all to help me with boxing food up. After about, I think, 2 months, we had served 49,672 meals. We did it with over 400 volunteers. We raised $36,000. We had over 24,000 non-perishable donated items, and we had partners all over the city. And we were operating out of the Storm One Center. And it was a massive movement across the city. And we did that out of one restaurant. And that is how my restaurant became known for community service. You know, what people didn't know is we were actually about to close the doors to that restaurant because we couldn't keep. We were a first year restaurant. The taxes were killing us, and we were going to close that. We were going to cook whatever we had left to deliver. I just got on Facebook and asked for help to add to it, and I didn't know that it was going to cost that type of movement. And people just started coming to eat. It was like, well, I guess we can't close now. Well, here we are. you know.
Hey, I have to go back to that higher power. Everything
Yeah.
happened for a reason. You were
Yeah.
in the right place at the right time, and you did not make a decision to turn away. You turned towards it,
Turn
and you
right.
could see what
Yeah.
was happening.
Yeah.
My mom used to call me nosy all the time too, and I used to say, "Mom, I'm curious. I'm observant. It's not
Well,
nosy."
you know what else? The pandemic happened shortly after that.
It did. It
We fed
did.
everyone until the last person got back into their apartment, and then the pandemic came about, and we didn't know what we were going to do. Talking about some teary-eyed nights. Um, Thought we were going to close the restaurant again, but at that point, I started seeing restaurants close, and the government wasn't stepping in. I was like, well, I can't sit back and watch that happen and not
No.
do anything. So I started building relationships, bringing folks together. And before you knew it, we convinced Duke University to donate $1 million to the city, only if the city would match it. So I called this press conference with over 300 people online, um, and pretty much pressured the city.
Mm-hmm.
And the city allocated $1 million, and
Mm.
Duke University matched it, and then the county came on board. So we had $3 million to stop the closure of every small business in Durham, and I wrote that criteria with my colleagues. Um, so part of part of having strategies is, you don't always prepare. You never prepare for problems, but you got to have the confidence to respond to them.
Right.
And when you do, being a strategic person means putting one foot in front of the other, keeping your resolve, keeping calm, and thinking objectively about what is before you. And
Right.
being able to follow those steps, you can address any issue that there is as long as you are the one that is being the constant. And we did just that. And all you have to do most of the time is just ask with a
Ask.
little pressure.
Yeah.
And so all of those things happened around the same time. And later on, I was like, all right, you know what? I might as well just run for office. And yeah, I'm here.
And it's not no might as well. It's no might as well. You were guided that way. Everything,
Yeah.
you were positioned that way. You'd already shown your influence. You'd already shown your leadership. You'd already shown that you can pull resources together and make things happen. And that's what we all need to be doing, whether we're running for office or not running for office. It's running the world. It's helping
Yeah.
individuals overcome the obstacles that they're faced with. So I love the stories that you're sitting here and you're sharing with us. And so you're getting ready to open this new restaurant, and it's due to
Yep.
open in.
We're going to start the soft opening series on Saturday.
Okay.
So
Oh,
I'll
this
be
coming
launching,
Saturday.
yeah,
Okay.
this coming Saturday. Um, you know, a lot of times, when it comes to Black owned businesses, Black owned restaurants, it is so hard to get the amount of capital needed
Right.
to provide that elevated dining experience like Ruth's Chris or something like that.
Right.
Um, that is a certain status, those types of restaurants. I don't think that we should be absent of that. I think
No.
we should be able to offer those things as well. So Our goal is to take over the restaurant scene in Durham. And we're getting really, really, really close to being able to bring those things to a reality. So this will be an elevated dining experience. We will introduce, Southern African Bantu culture food to the North Carolina and United States palate. We will introduce you to things that you've never experienced before, food that you can't get anywhere else. But this restaurant concept, Ikaya is the name of it. Ikaya is basically an opportunity for us to do just that. You're not going to know whether it's black owned or not. What you're going to know is this is an elevated dining experience that I know is well put together. Because those are our expectations when we go out to dinner, and that's what Willie and I wanted to put forward. So you're going to taste her personality, you're going to see my personality,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a perfect marriage of what our expectations are, our standards. It is a beautiful, beautiful location. It's located at American Tobacco, right over the waterfalls. And we custom designed the entire space, and all fixtures are from Zimbabwe in South Africa. And
Ooh,
it has the most eclectic foreign wine list that you can get.
okay.
Um, and, everything is just custom. Everything is custom.
Okay, okay. So is there any way that as we're talking before we close out that in the chat box, can you type in the address and then right that way he can run it across the banner, and we'll also make sure we publish it when I go back and add stuff to the Facebook page because we want individuals to know when it's opening, where it's going to be at, so that they will be able to come and listen. If you're in the Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, Cary area, you need to come and patronize the restaurant. Yeah, perfect. Because Mark, the producer, will take that information and run it across the banner so everyone will be able to see it. I
Yeah,
love the fact.
we're launching. So the website is still in announcement.
Okay. All right. He said the website is still an announcement. They're going to be launching it. He'll be coming back on. We know he had a little technical difficulty. So technology does what technology wants to do. But if he's unable to get back on, we'll make sure that you get the location of the restaurant and when the website is going to be up, when you can make reservations. It's an upscale restaurant that they're introducing. You heard him say his vision is to make sure that they are in charge of the Durham restaurant scene. So we want to
There
make
we
sure
go.
we patronize that so that we can
So,
help.
sorry about that.
Oh, no, no, no. I just talked about listen, technology will do what technology does.
Yeah, StreamYard, it's like you can click when you're typing, you can click the
Hmm.
X or done. Done shuts you out. So,
I know it. Yeah.
yeah,
So, but I mentioned the fact that we'll make sure that we do run the address and everything also out there at Facebook so they'll be able to have it. And with it being an upscale restaurant, we definitely need to patronize you, especially when they're in the Raleigh Durham, area
yes,
that they can come to
yes.
the restaurant. I know when I read on the something I read about it's event space as well. So corporations will be able to come and have events there. Did I understand that correctly?
So I'm relocating my Zweli's Kitchen event, Zweli's
Okay.
Kitchen space to Brightleaf Square. We'll open
Okay.
there around July or August, possibly sooner. That will have a private event space, room,
Okay.
full bar, everything. The one we have now, the one we had now that are closed on Saturday, it
Mhm.
it had a full event space as well. But the current one that
Relocate.
we're opening this week is a small, intimate, reservations preferred
Mhm.
space at American Tobacco.
Okay. Well, we will wait patiently until you open the event space. I just want to make it known because you have a lot of corporations in what the RTP,
Oh
Durham,
yeah,
Raleigh, Cary, Apex area that could very well use that space. I know I have another friend who has some space over in Morrisville that does the same thing, have an event space. So, when I'm bringing individuals on, I always talk about what's happening next, so that we can help individuals to understand what are you faced with, what do you need, people to support you on, because after all, you got 200 countries listening. You're on Roku, you're on Pod TV, you're on Amazon Live, so you got all of this access to viewers that's going to be watching and can rewatch and listen to this. So just know you have access to be able to share the interview as well. Yeah. So I know we're getting closer to closing, ending the conversation, but I want you to tell us, what would you tell your 14 to 7-year-old self now? That when you were 14 and 17, now that you've gone through all these trials and tribulations and the strategies and successes and all that kind of stuff, what would you go back and tell that 14 to 17-year-old self of yours?
Ooh, that's
Loaded
um,
question, huh?
it is a loaded question. I would say that mistakes are okay. Make them early as you possibly can. Um, Mistakes are necessary. Again, make them as early as you can in any process because they are necessary to learn from. I would say, you don't have to make just one dream come true in life. Be a lifelong learner, a lifelong doer, and when you dream something, no matter what it is, work on making it a reality. If it's a vision that you want to bring forth. Um, and the other thing is, the more successful you get, the lonelier life gets. And and that is, I say it that way because that's what it's going to feel like. But
Mm-hmm.
what happens is the harder you work, the harder your tree is going to shake.
That.
And the harder your tree is shaking, you got to think about it. You are the tree, so you won't fall off. But there will be dead leaves. There will be, there will be fruit that is rotten. Fruit that pulped and grew with you, but you became the tree, and they decided to continue to be just that fruit. And there will be people in your life that will expire, and there will be people that will be trees to grow along with you, and together you will become a forest. And you're not always going to be lonely. It's just going to feel like it in the process, but you will evolve your social networks.
In all of that, I'm hearing you say, be patient. Be
Be
patient with
patient. Yep.
yourself. I love the fact that you gave I'm a visual learner. See, so when you gave the tree, I mean, I could immediately see the tree, right? And I saw a nice big thick tree and the roots going down, right? But then you said, but then there's the shaking, the shaking.
Yeah.
In life, you have to prune. You must
Yeah.
prune. Everybody's not going to grow with you. Everybody's not a part of your vision. But the ones who's going to be in that, I don't like to call them a circle. I like to call them your support system. Those who are part of that support system are going to understand your vision and willing to help you bring that vision to reality.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
love that. I love that analogy of a tree and the shaking of the tree.
That's what
And
it feels like.
yes,
It's like, I
it's
mean,
falling
shake
off.
yourself, and when you shake yourself, it's like, oh my God, everything is just, you just stop it, stop it. What that is the bills are due, the people are asking, the people are demanding, everybody's pulling you in different directions, but you
Mm-hmm,
got to stand your ground and
mm-hmm.
stay focused on your vision, stay focused on your North Star. And what happens is, people keep shaking and shaking until they fall. And then here we are,
Here we
you know.
are. Here
You're
we are.
standing tall, you're standing bold, you're standing strong, successful, and
Yeah.
people are looking at you. They're looking at you and they're saying, "Wow, I want to be that tree one day."
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that. Because part of my logo is a tree. It was
Yeah.
giving me the vision as part of the tree. And the leaves were green, but they were butterflies because
Mm,
of transformation. Because
yeah.
trees transform, leaves transform, people transform. Is always an evolution going on. And that's what life is all about, is transforming. You're going through that transformation and believing in yourself as you're going through the transformation. And that's what you've
Right.
done, Councilman Williams. You have believed in yourself. I am, want to say I'm very proud of you and your wife. I know she couldn't be here because of the restaurant opening and everything. I love that. And she has her me time. And that's what I talked about starting out. So, ladies and gentlemen, take time for yourself. We just heard it, that mental, physical, emotional, all of that must be taken care of. Put strategies in place, work the strategies, but also have a support system. Don't forget about those people who are supporting you. And I love what you said. You didn't say it, but you gave an example of it about reaching back and helping others.
Yep.
When you saw that situation with the food and you knew you had food at your restaurant, They didn't know what your situation was. You didn't hesitate. You just immediately say, I have a resolution to the problem that I'm seeing right here at hand. And you did not hesitate. You put all hands and feet into it, as well
Yep.
as the mind. I mean, that is awesome. If we can just get more people to do that,
That's the
just
goal.
more people to do that. Well, I thank you for your time. I understand my producer said, now, if you have a sizzle, we can always show that later, so a reel
Okay.
like that about
Okay.
the restaurant that's, you got coming up. So if you want to, get that to us, and we'll make sure that we incorporate this into what we're talking
Will
about.
do.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Well, I'm going to run and get out of
Okay.
here. I've enjoyed speaking with you this evening. So sorry about the technical difficulties, but
We
I'm
made it
here.
work. It worked. And everything that I talked about before you coming in, guess what? You echoed everything that we talked about. It happens for a reason. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll be
My
in touch.
pleasure.
All right.
Sounds
Take
good.
care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard it from Councilman Williams. I mean, what a heart, what a servant leader that we have here on our hands and in the Raleigh Durham community area. I mean, he has a restaurant that's opening. He's an educator. He's a councilman. He's taken everything from his heart. He's putting it not only on the table, but also in the community. So I know it's time for me to end the show, but I want to encourage you to support the councilman in his restaurant, in his endeavors to help the community. And also, if you have things that you're doing in your community, share them with me at Maxine at levelisco.com, and let me hear some of the things that you're doing. I would love to invite you to my show so that you can share them. There's plenty of people in this world doing great things. I might not know you who you are, but you might see me. All you have to do is let's communicate. So as I end the show tonight, I always say, I believe in you. I trust you believe in yourself. Maybe back here next week. We're going to have another great time of some more phenomenal guests coming on. And so I want you to come back and enjoy and take a part, ask questions, and communicate with us. So have a great evening.